Noisy Pixel.
This is it. This is the show. This is in the show too.
What's up, nerds? Welcome to another episode of the Noisy Pixel Podcast, the official podcast of NoisyPixel.net, where you can find gaming news, reviews, previews, and all that gaming goodness. As always, I'm your host, Brian, and joined again with the great and wonderful Victor Aparicio.
Hipster coffee takes a long time.
Define hipster coffee.
Well, as I was saying, I was going to use my like Keurig single thing where you can put your own coffee in this tiny little cup and stick that into the Keurig machine, but I couldn't find it anywhere. Like I guess my girlfriend was washing it. So what I did instead is I put my coffee in freaking those Chemex pour overs where you have to, heat the water just right and make sure you have the right grams of coffee grounds, and you gotta slowly like circulate the water as you're pouring it. You gotta do like this little hoop and henning and all this stuff, and that's how you just make a really good cup of joe. And that's how I wake up every morning, except I don't. I wake up 10 minutes before I have to get to work, and I panic, and I run there as fast as possible.
Shame, man. You know what my go-to is? It's that instant Folgers coffee.
Is it?
Because the best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup.
I wonder if Wayne Brady even bothered with instant coffee. Like, I wonder if I'm pretty sure someone does it for him.
Actually, I just buy my coffee. I don't really make it. Or I skim a little bit off the top of whatever my housemates make. Like some sort of coffee gremlin. Like just out in the morning, just sneak in while it's boiling, pour a little bit for myself, put it back, and then they come in, they're like, didn't I make more than this? And you're like, nope. No, you didn't.
Coffee, I see. It's like, no, he's back.
It's me, the coffee gremlin. Anyways, yes. For those joining us, this is supposed to be a gaming podcast, but we tend to talk about ourselves a lot more.
Not anymore.
But speaking of ourselves, what you been up to video game wise? What you been playing, Victor, since the last time we posted an episode?
What have I been doing? Oh my, I can't even remember. I reviewed a game called Sniper Elite 3. It got ported over to the Switch when it was originally launched for PS3, Xbox, PS4, and Xbox One. So, just a really good hoot and handy. I keep saying that word. I'm gonna stop saying that word. Of a game where, as the title would suggest, you're a sniper elite. So you just go around sniping people with like semi-realistic like ballistics. Of course, you can crank those up and make it super realistic ballistics where even the slightest bit of wind pushes your bullet like slightly off trajectory, and it makes me angry. I tried it. It's like if you like that challenge, go for it. But I will stick to my baby indicators that tell me exactly where to shoot, and I'm just like, yay, I did a thing.
I killed a man.
But obviously being a Switch port, the reviews more like, well, how's it run for the Switch? And I'm just like, it runs great. But the game itself, go read my review. If you like what you hear, then you'll like this game. But, it didn't fare well for me.
If it's for you, it's for you. What can I say?
Fans of the genre.
Yes.
I think I got a little less than that. I don't remember. Then I'm back on I'm back on the Destiny grind right now. Nice. I just started it. Nice. The new Lite, which is just a free to play version of it, which technically, to everyone who's played Destiny before or knows the gist of it, just think of it as the base game and some of the year 2 stuff, along with Warmind and Mine of Orias or something like that.
Because Warmind's they had Mind of Orion was the second one, right? Or was the first DLC of Destiny 2?
I believe so.
Because that's the one with the maze.
Yeah.
The infinite forest maze.
I fell off the face of the planet when it comes to Destiny, or in this case, the face of the Mars. And so I messed all that stuff. But what makes me laugh about it is my friend before he fell off, Forsaken, I believe, was paying for all this stuff. So like he probably spent anywhere between like $40 to $80 on all this stuff. Fun. All the DLC and stuff like that. Yeah. And I just got it for free, and he's been like sulking about it ever since. Like, I think we were talking about this a few podcasts ago about for those who are dedicated, supportive, and throw you money, all three things that you would think, would reward someone for, doing all that. Doesn't really. And my friend is feeling the full brunt of it. So it makes me laugh. And I'm just like, and me spending like $0 being just like, oh, I can spend like 35 on like dark Shadowkeep, I mean. And he's just like, yeah, but for me that's 35 more dollars that they're just gonna take from me and probably give it away for free when the PS5 comes out or something.
Yeah, exactly. So that's
a whole lot of emotions.
Now, now that like we're working men and we're living adult lives and stuff, and we don't have so much time for games anymore, I feel like it's becoming more and more cost effective to just wait it out. just wait it out, especially with the cost of video games being like $60 now for a game upon release. You can easily wait it out until it's like on sale for $5, or like wait till it's packaged for free with one of your subscription service things.
And sometimes being a busy bee of a adult human being, sometimes it just falls naturally. Like I haven't had a lot of time for Control because of all these reviews and whatever. And without even like just think, I didn't even know about it, but like they have Control has a season pass for like a few more DLC stories or something. And it was like, I think 5, 10, 15 bucks off, or not 15, but it was like 20, and I think it got knocked down to 15, and I was just like, oh, nice. And like someone who bought that like day one's like, oh. So yeah, that's great. Risk of Rain 2.
You playing that too?
Yeah, just a little bit. Me and my buddies have established a game night. So now it's gonna consist of Risk of Rain when we feel like it, or when we feel like don't want to eat for a week, we can get Modern Warfare and some Destiny 2. And that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna try to do that, but again, we're adult males who
exactly
don't know how to.
Do I want to eat dinner, or do I want to just play games during dinner time?
Did you read the Polygon? I think it's Polygon from one of the writers for Trisha. I think she wrote like $60 games don't make sense anymore.
Oh yeah, I think I saw that headline. I didn't actually click into it.
Yeah, I didn't read the whole thing. I like skimmed it, but like she was just basically doing like the Netflix of games argument kind of thing, where it's just like there's Xbox Game Pass.
Yep.
PlayStation Now, which we'll get into later. That's what I want.
Yes, we are going to get into that later.
And State is coming out too, and it's just like no, man, pay like $10 a month or whatever and like play anything you want.
It just makes more sense. It just makes way more sense.
Like for us, because we like for subscriptions.
Yeah, it's I don't know what it's gonna do financially for games developers.
Yeah, I hope they get that money.
I don't know how big of a pie, piece of the pie they're getting.
Spotify's over here struggling because like they have a literal reserve of money dedicated to people who like try to sue them or be like, hey, I didn't get my royalties, and I'm like, here.
it's the fuck you money.
So anyways, but yeah, I think video games are funny nowadays.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting time.
What have you been playing, Brian Lee?
So speaking of money, recently I've been working on a review for a free-to-play MMORPG that came out on PS4 called Caravan Stories. And yeah, so that review should be coming out in the next couple of days. I'm trying to write it up because I can't quite put my finger on it, on like how I feel about the game and my experience with it. Because initially, because I didn't know anything about this game going into it, except for like seeing a few trailers, and the trailers are very misleading on what this game is. Because they're like lush MMORPG, you know, pick from one of these races, blah blah. And you're like, oh, it's gonna be like an MMORPG, great. And then I booted it up, and then it was like you select your race, and you like have to formulate a team, and then there's like gacha mechanics. I'm like, wait, is this just a mobile game? And I looked it up, and it's just a port from a 2017 Japanese mobile game. It's like a mobile gacha game that got ported over to the PS4 from Japan. Apparently, it was really popular in Japan, or did really well in Japan, and they brought it over to the PS4 in the West. So initially, I was pretty upset because I thought I was getting one thing, but I was getting something totally different playing it. But after like, I think I put a good amount of time into the game, over a couple of days, and like it's definitely not a game for everybody. Like you were saying with the sniper thing, it's probably it's for a specific audience of people, you know, like the people who like the creating teams of characters and doing gacha roles and stuff like that. But there's some cool stuff in it. Like there's some cool little mechanics in it that are like MMORPG-esque that I think are pretty neat. Like there's a lot of quests you can do in the game, but a lot of them are like kill these things or talk to one person, then talk to another person or whatever. But like what's kind of nice is that you can kind of, what's nice and not nice about it. So the game is kind of like one of those autoplay games. It like plays itself basically. So you can auto path to objectives and stuff, and it'll just do things for you. If you don't want to bother grinding, which is like, okay, this would have been good as a mobile game. I could see that. But as a PS4, I'm dedicating my time sitting in front of this TV to play in front of a PS4. I don't want to just AFK it. Like I legit at some point in my playthrough, there's a thing you could do where you open up the minimap and you turn on autoplay and click on your location, and within a certain radius around you, it'll start gathering items and just attacking things, and like going into like combat. So I literally just turned that on and I went to go get ramen for like an hour. Then I came back and I had like all this shit in my inventory.
Wow.
So like as like a fun like AFK kind of game, like I appreciate the, like, you know, that it's not about that aspect of it. It's so you can focus more on the like leveling up your armies and like mix and matching like certain strategies of what kind of characters you want in your composition. And like there's the reason it's called Caravan Stories. There's like this little ship called a caravan that you can like decorate with equipment and stuff. Like you can put guns on it and it'll attack for you, or you can decorate the inside with like forges and other stuff which add mechanics to the game, such as like melting down equipment for better materials, or fusing equipments together for higher tier equipment, and stuff like that. And so it was when viewing the game for what it was, I enjoyed it a lot more than I anticipated. That being said, it's definitely, if you like hate that kind of shit, this is not the game for you. This is not a game for you to be playing.
I'm so fixated on, like, you know, like you said, like you're sitting here, it's the biggest TV you probably have in the place, I'm assuming, and like a controller's in your hand. You're just ready for sticks, triggers, and buttons, and like you just stare at it doing everything for you.
Exactly. Exactly. If like something, you could probably just live stream the game and not even be in front of it and just have that make revenue for you. It's a pre-recording of you in front of a green screen, and you're just doing mouth motions, and then and then you get like an AI computer that sort of sounds like you,
and you just make it like auto generate like random kooky like sentences you can say, and then the game, and then like you just slap it all together in this like dystopian fucking like I'm brain dead. I live in Wall-E, and this is how I choose to
just one of those fat guys on the wheelchair. So that's the trick.
And everyone is eating it up, like commenting, being like, "This is the most original."
It's like, wow, what I've ever seen. Yeah, like the game looks really good, and the cutscenes and the story. It's like there's a lot of little things in it that I like, but not enough to where I would want to play this for a lot of time. At least not on a PS4. If it was perhaps on a different console, like I can see why it's great on a mobile game. I can understand why the mobile phone game in Japan is doing well. I can see why that's good. Sure. But on a PS4, there's so many other things I could be doing on this PS4 and that you're just dedicating resources to playing the game.
You're just like, how does the web browser work? I haven't opened the PlayStation 4 web browser since never. I'd much rather do that right now.
Yeah, like I wish like maybe like someone figured out a hack where you can like browse Reddit while your thing's auto doing stuff for you. But it's funny because like there's certain points in the game where it like, so you can autoplay the game, but you still have to like set the path like every time you complete a part of the quest.
Right.
So some quest line bits are a lot shorter than like you should be AFKing. So like I'll auto path to something and it's literally like a 2-second walk and then I have to start playing again. And so it's not enough to where you can fully put down the controller if you're trying to go from quest to quest. The only time you can really AFK the game is if you're trying to farm for stuff or grind for stuff and level things and stuff like that. And it's a gacha game, so like you're only gonna go as far as your team composition. So sometimes you gotta shell out big boy money to play the game, which is, I mean, some people like it, some people don't. I've played my fair share of gacha games, but the gacha games I've played have been a lot more involved. And they're on a phone, so I can do it while I poop.
Nice.
So
speaking of phones,
yes.
I'm going to derail. Hopefully, I only derail us for a few minutes. But have you tried the Google Play Pass? Their answer to Apple Arcade?
No, I have not. Have you?
I've been using it for a little while.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on
that? It's pretty cool. I mean, I like how it's a little more open, so it's not just games. Like Google decided to do like a total like 350 plus games and apps.
Oh,
so there's some random apps on here that are like, you know, the premium or ad free versions of them. And you know, there's some music players, there's some easy high Q MP3 voice recorder pro, whatever that means, you know, just random wacky things. So like in terms of quality control, like, you know, there's less of it. But, you know, there's a lot of stuff on here. But I just think it's like cool, like, because like, you know, there's Limbo on here. There's Monument Valley, Reigns, Her Majesty. There's some good stuff. There's the Portal Bridge games on here.
That's pretty dope.
Pretty nice.
Valley. What do you think the vetting process of that is like? Like, if I get this Google Play Pass thing and I like go through the apps that are available for it, how likely are those not going to be like viruses or really broken games and things like that? Like am I getting a better like quality library essentially from like, does it weed out all the riffraff from the Google store?
I'm not sure, because like the way Google phrases it is that to them, not too many people spend money on apps. They rather just, you know, do some social media, maybe some Tinder dating and like, I don't know, like whatever else.
Right.
So they're mostly socializing instead of like purchasing apps.
Right.
So they're just like, here's a bunch of apps based on the most popular things people would tend to buy sometimes. And we're going to have like 5 to 10 like similar app sets. So like there's one good one and the rest of them are just like, that doesn't sound like anything I'd download even if I was the richest man in the world. So
I see.
It's kind of odd. It is odd, but I'm sure it's vetted to some degree.
Yeah, because that's the always thing that I was like concerned about is like, oh, okay, is it better to get the flashlight app that's in the regular store, or is it better to get a flashlight app through my Google Play Pass.
I don't understand flashlight apps. Like, I get like some of them are like flashing and like cool and like you can make them do patterns or whatever.
Right. Flashlight app is already built into every phone now. Okay, before it wasn't in the dark times. Pun intended.
It's like this one lets me dim it. It's just like what?
All right, let's go somewhere else. Maybe like a guitar tuning app. Would the guitar tuning app be better if I got it through the Play Pass or if I downloaded, say, G Strings from Google Play?
G-strings. There is a ukulele tuning app. I don't know if there's a regular one or a guitar one, and I like it. I have a ukulele. It's a cheap one, but it's nice and tuned up, and I had a good time. There's no ads, so I don't know.
No ads. No ads is already a big plus for paying that premium, because I like it when you got those apps that are like free to play and you can spend like $3 to like or $2 to remove the ad permanently. The permanent ones. That's the one I want, not the pay to remove ads for 30 days. No. That's a scam.
I don't like those guys.
That's a dirty scam right there.
I mean,
permanent.
Well, I will say this, like, sometimes I'll do like the Google, like, reward survey things for some Google points, or you call them. Yeah. And so I'm just saying, like, hey, Google, like, technically you're already paying me to, vet you out. So how about I say, start your Google Play Pass for a 10-day trial. Then, then after that, it's $2 a month for an entire year. And then after that, it's like, what, $5-6 a month. So there you go. There's your Google ad. Google pay me.
Yes. Google ad money. You pay for yourself. I'll give you my data. You don't give me ads. I'll answer your questions directly. Does that help you? You don't have to. You don't have to show me advertising.
Look, it's clear you're tracking my location and my number. So whenever I just don't look busy, call me up, ask for some questions.
I was at Safeway yesterday. Yeah, I bought stuff with cash.
Hey, we don't have Safeway over here, okay?
Oh, what do you got over there?
We got a Save Mart and like a Winco.
That's gibberish to me. What are either of those things?
We're open in Aldi soon.
Those sound made up. Those don't sound real.
The last one sounds made up because it's German.
All right. Well, while we're on the topic of like streaming services stuff, let's get into the news. Let's talk about PlayStation Now and the PlayStation.
It's time for the news. Okay.
I don't know what news songs sound like it. I don't actually watch the news. I assume it's a mix of high streaks and jazz.
I listen to a news podcast and that goes like boom, boom, boom. I don't know.
It always ends up sounding like the Jurassic Park song, and when I like try to sing it.
Have you seen the YouTube video where like someone's on an automatone and then they're playing the Jurassic Park theme to open the
movie? Or like just those recorder covers to every song, like the Titanic recorder covers. Oh, so good.
Yeah, an automatone sounds like a recorder that's panicking.
Yes, I kind of want to get one.
And me too. I love them.
But that's what it's PlayStation Now. Talk about it.
So I'm going to condense 3 pieces of news into one, and I'm going to go over it like a little timeline. So early in the week, I think probably like 2-3 days ago of this recording, Sean Layden, chairman of the Sony Worldwide Studios, he departs. Didn't give a reason. He just goes. It goes on Twitter. Like, it's not even him either. It's like the PlayStation official Twitter. It's just like, Sean Layden's leaving. Okay. And then like the next tweet is just like, hey, freaking whatever, something. I don't remember. And I'm just like, what? Just like that? Jesus, like no reason, like all that stuff.
Just out of the blue, huh?
So I just want to put an RIP out there for Sean Layden. He was probably one of my most favorites of the PlayStation presidents. Probably right beside yeah, I would say Jack Tran. Like, you gotta love the classic microphone toss where like he's just like, yeah, the PlayStation 4, and he just throws the microphone. And it's just like, oh, that's pretty sweet. This guy's cool. He probably rides a skateboard when he was younger.
Yeah.
All that stuff. So they didn't announce a replacement yet, and then obviously like Jim Ryan, or I think that's his name. This is Sony, the big Sony guy, or the big PlayStation guy. He's just like, oh yeah, he was great, and his leadership was astounding. It was great working with him. So yeah, and it's just like, oh man. But the next day, PlayStation Now is just like, hey, remember all those times you were paying $20 a month for PlayStation Now? $10. And now God of War's on there, and now freaking Grand Theft Auto 5's on there.
We love you, Jim Ryan.
and I'm just like, and it kind of makes you want to make the joke, being like, was Sean Layden being just like, come on, let us put it down to $10? He's like, no,
$20
and all this stuff. And then I think the next day after that, which is today, freaking crossplay gets out of beta. So now any game that has crossplay built into their games,
right?
They just work now. I don't know exactly the timing when. Like, I don't know if it's just like, aha, it's right now and turn it on.
That's pretty cool.
But yeah, it's out of beta.
3 with PC, and then like the PS4 will play together if that's the case. That'd be pretty cool.
And then again, it's just like Jim Ryan's over here being like, okay, here's some things I want to knock off my list before the year ends, because I've been really lagging on like my New Year's resolution. Okay, I'm gonna kick Sean Layden out. I'm gonna fucking literally boot him out of the freaking building.
It's just like it's like a crossing things off a list.
I want
Step
to
one, kick him out.
I'm gonna slash PlayStation Now in half, and then crossplay. It's ready. You know what? I'm tired of being the freaking black sheep of all the freaking console makers being like, ha, you don't support, you hate developers. Like, no, I don't. I just want to know where all the money goes. Yeah. So there we go. That's the whole news.
Nice. Good sum up, man. That was a solid sum up. I liked it. I felt like I lived history for a little bit there.
Yeah. Well, Sean Lane made me cry. Everything else was just like, wow. Like, they're really trying to position themselves to be like,
like cool now.
we see the future now. Like Stadia, maybe it's on some rocky legs, but they're on to something. People really responded to that. And Nintendo and Xbox is just literally like collaborating on ads, being just like, we do crossplay. Where's the blue? Where's the other guy? And then there's like, oh, and then all these developers being just like, we literally walked up to Sony and went like, can we crossplay? And they just like straight up said no to us, no matter how much we asked.
And then they spat in our faces.
So it's just like, and like, I think I forgot his exact quote, so I won't quote him, but like he was just pretty much like, these are the things like I wanted to position myself in. I'm going to use my executive power to like really push these forward, so we don't like become complacent. So we're not like that odd company out when everyone else is like moving towards these things or are already there. And so it's just a few smart moves that really pivot themselves to be like, freaking trademark the place to play. This is for the gamers. Whatever. All of our marketing cues.
Yeah, I think they were like talking about how for game streaming services, like in comparison to Google Stadia, what's the benefit of PlayStation and PlayStation Now is that you don't have to worry about latency issues because you can just download the game.
Yeah, that's what I was about to look up. I was just like, was that an Xbox Game Pass or was it PlayStation Now?
I think Xbox Game Pass is also working to do. I don't know if they've already implemented or if they're working to do that too. But I remember seeing both of those mentioned in the same article about like why streaming services benefit from being paired together with physical hardware. Because that way you don't have to worry about the issue of latency. Now, like if Google Stadia just like for PC just lets you download the game like .exe style onto your computer, that's all, I'm all for that. Give me that. I'll pay for Google Stadia if I could just download a Google Stadia app and it'll download the game to my freaking device and I can play it. That'd be sick.
It is sick.
Although for like mobile devices where you only have like 64 gigs of space, just like 2 games, please. I'll take one God of War, please. And then you have to delete it in order to play a different one.
Let's see. So, sorry, I was just reading. Here's a Q&A very recently, I think. Oh, yeah, this is like yesterday. It says, PlayStation Now enables you to stream over 800 PS4, PS3, and PS2 games and download more than 300. So it's like select titles. So there you go.
Still, that's pretty good.
Yeah. So, it's one heck of a deal if they did like, the Xbox style, like, hey, here's this one bundle that gives you PlayStation Plus for a year, PlayStation Now for a year and all this. And it's like what, like, let's make it $15-$20 or something.
Yeah.
Like, that'd be pretty dope.
I definitely think that'd be really good.
A month, I mean, well, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I got you.
So, yeah, really cool. That's what I had to talk about.
Cool. What else is there to talk about? Well, while we're talking about consoles and stuff, so the Nintendo Switch Lite came out, and apparently it's not doing so well sales-wise.
Interesting.
Which is kind of, I mean, I'm not super surprised, but at the same time, I'm a little bit surprised.
It's probably because I'm not buying it.
Yeah, but like, because I was thinking about like the benefit of having a Nintendo Switch that it doesn't dock, right? That's what the Switch Lite is. It's like you can't dock it at all or attach it to a TV at all, right? Mm-hmm. So I mean, like, I can see there's a bit of like FOMO if you like don't buy the actual Switch and opt in for a Switch Lite instead, right? Because if you buy a Switch Lite, now you're just basically saying I'm never buying a Switch.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to do that because they want to play on their TV at some point.
I love the angle you're taking with this because it's just like, oh man, like I've been hearing about this Switch. Oh, this is like the entry Switch, and that's all they think about. They don't even think about like the technicalities. So they buy it, and now I just imagine him like walking down the street, being like, "This is pretty cool," and then he peers into a window,
and then
like,
people are playing together on a 4K TV with like 8 controllers.
Some person whips out their Switch. He's like, "Hey, he has a Switch too, but why does it look different?" And he sees him like dock it, and it turns into a TV, and he's like, "What?"
It was only like $100 more. What?
Yeah, just sitting outside in the cold rain.
Yeah, I think they're kind of like, they're spreading themselves thin doing it this way. I feel like I would compare it to when they brought out those like 2DSs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and like comparing those to basically a DS Lite or whatever. The ones that like don't have a foldable screen and it's just like it's just one big brick.
the door hinge.
Yeah, the door hinge ones. Yeah, so it was like I feel like that it's nice that they're giving consumers options, but at the same time, it's basically like, do you want to settle? Do you want to settle for not quite what you wanted? It's like you ask your parents for a Christmas present, and then they buy you like the off-brand version of the Christmas present. It's like I wanted an iPod. Here's a Zune, like sort of situation.
Hey! I had a Zune. I think it was dope.
I think my friend had a Zune too. It was actually pretty cool. I didn't own a Zune. I think my first MP3 player was iPod Video.
I mean, I didn't like syncing my music because I had to do it manually, but it's whatever.
Yeah, but then like you couldn't bootleg music very well for an iPod like at the time because you'd have to like figure out how to. I think, or at least the way I was doing it, you had to like rename all your files every time you try to like put them in because they would change it to like a different, like a serial number or something when you ported it over. It was weird. At least that's what I remember. I'm sure it's super easy now, but who does that anymore? You just freaking Spotify.
Now, allegedly, I still to this day have my original like folders upon folders of like things I used to sync to my iPod before it was stolen and I became sad.
Uh-huh.
And I still have that library, and like it's all allegedly stolen.
Oh,
yeah. So
it's your pirate's booty.
But I pay for Spotify now. Who doesn't pay their artists? So
yeah.
I never. So
it's like pirating, but legal. Where were we? Oh yeah, but I was also because they also announced going back to the Switch thing. They announced in Japan Brain Age for the Switch, right? And those things use like their controllers to do weird like motion tracky things and stuff to play the game. So does that mean you just can't play that game on the Switch Lite?
Oh, that's a good question. Because like there's still,
like there's a lot of games that require motion controls, but the controls for the Switch Lite are bolted onto the Switch. So what do you do?
Oh, that's the way you're thinking about it. Okay, well, yeah, but that is true though, and one game uses the infrared to
show your hand when you like do your maths.
Yeah, when it's just like 1 + 2, and then like you
hold fingers up.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah, so you're like you're missing out. I feel if you get a Switch Lite,
I know, like this, like Nintendo Direct is just like the Switch Lite, and not that long after that was just like, haha, the Fit Switch, and the now Brain Age, and of course cardboard, or not cardboard, what is it called? How am I forgetting this? Labo, yeah, there you go.
Yes, the Nintendo Labo.
Like all these official, really interesting or cool, things.
I want to
based
play
on the concept
of the
original Switch.
Can't play ARMS. No way.
You can play ARMS. You're just gonna throw your console out of this car. Yeah, it's, oh my god, it's so odd.
Because I'm sure they're like gonna make controllers that you can sync, or like you could sync controllers to it, probably. Yeah, but it's still like anything that requires you to like hold motion controllers and look at your screen, you gotta need to put it on a bigger screen or a dock of some kind.
Yeah, so. And I just love it too. So there's so many caveats, because it's like yeah, you could still play like tabletop, but there's no kickstand. So you're just gonna have to like prop it up against like your phone, or maybe
just have your little brother hold it up for you while you play the game.
and then you got to sync like separate Joy-Cons, but you have nowhere to put them.
Yeah,
when you're like done playing and all this stuff, and the screen's small, and you're just like squinting.
Like at that point, if you're gonna go through all that hassle, you might as well just fucking buy the Switch. Like,
yeah, I love it too, because excited like YouTube, Nintendo like reviewers or critics or something like that, they're over here just like, I was like, well, you could still connect controllers and third party stuff and all this stuff, and like you can see, and then they set up their B-roll of like their Nintendo Switch, like I said, like lean up against a cup, and like they're just like, it still works, and it's just like no one's doing that.
Like, think about it. What's one thing that people want to play on the Nintendo Switch? Super Smash Brothers. How many players does that fit? 8 people. Are you gonna really crowd 8 people in front of your fucking Switch Lite?
Well, even in the most realistic sense, like 8 people, and like you're doing online or whatever, and you're like squinting, like when the camera zooms out, when you're all kind of spread out, the camera zooms out a bit. You gotta like squint to look. Like I have trouble with that enough already. I don't know if I'm like visually dyslexic or something, but I can't play Smash, because if there's more than like 4 players, or
I feel that way too. We play play on the big screen too, and I'm just like, I have no idea where the fuck I am.
I was just gonna say, I get smacked across the screen, and like I'm just like, where I don't, I'm just get, and then you hear the and it's like, oh, okay, I fell off.
Or you're like, oh, I totally did it. Oh wait, that wasn't me. And then you, where am I? And then you realize you died. As the platform floats from the top down, and you're like, have infold frames. You're like, oh, I died at some point. Man.
But the funny thing is, which is why I think Nintendo came out with these things, it's just a small personal anecdote. I was showing my girlfriend Nicole all this stuff. I was like, look, you got to sync like external controllers to it, and it doesn't have a kickstand and all this stuff and blah blah. And the screen's is small. It still looks good, but it's really small. Yeah. And she's still just like, but you're still buying me one, right? So I can play Animal Crossing. And I'm like, well, yeah. I mean, yeah, yes.
So we found the market. It's for boyfriends who have to buy their girlfriend a Switch to play Animal Crossing, but they don't want to pay for the whole Switch.
It's like but you know what? That whole $100 is spent on Animal Crossing. So.
Exactly. So you might as well buy the Switch, and she could buy Animal Crossing for herself.
Yeah, that's true. We can both be swapping. She can get different colored Joy-Cons, and we can be trading back and forth like some
exactly. And that's kind of adds to the personality, right? You get to swap your Joy-Cons out and accessorize and do cool things. It's just
and technically we have 4 controllers now because I've always been hogging the Joy-Cons and I only bought a Pro controller, so technically I only had like 3 at one time.
Yeah. I think the only way they can salvage this Switch Lite situation is to release Switch Lite exclusives.
That's true too.
You know, like treat it as if it's the new Game Boy.
Like I would do that though, like for the dedicated like family of consoles kind of people where it's just like, oh, big brother has like the Switch, so I'm gonna buy like the smaller brother, like a Nintendo Lite, so you can stop kicking them and like bothering them, and they can both play games, and I can keep drinking because I'm a bad parent. And like it'd be cool if like you can dock the Switch, and then the brother Switch Lite just turns into a controller, so like they can play like 2-player games.
Oh yeah, you know like how they what was it? You could use your 3DS as a Smash Bros controller if you had the Smash Bros for the DS.
That's correct.
I feel like that. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool if you could do that with the Switch Lite and just use it as another.
Then it would have controller. That one like quote unquote exclusive like feature.
That'd be pretty dope. That would be pretty dope as like an accessory to already having a Switch. I can see that being pretty good.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it is still pretty expensive for something that's just basically that add-on for the Wii U.
It's an expensive controller. It's the Wii U all over. It's the Wii U all over again. It's a controller
that's an expensive controller.
That thing really is the Wii U, except you finally can take it somewhere.
Yeah, it's a thin Wii U.
Funny. Yeah, that's great. I don't know. What do you want from me?
Oh man. Anything else you want to talk about?
I would like to jump into a segment we missed last week, which is
it's a time.
JustBrian Minute.
JustBrian Minutes.
Okay. I don't remember if we officially or unofficially, I had to explain the video in 1 minute, but here we go.
No, we said minutes. See, that's a little asterisk thing that we put in there. It's minute, and then we put in parentheses the S so that, you know, we have a little way out, little leeway.
All right, here we go. So we have a different recording time. So unfortunately, the newest JustBrian Minute didn't come out yet. This is last week's episode, but that's completely okay because we've been messing it so far. So in this episode, the video is called Area 52, and Jack Black comes out and he's just like, "Hey, sorry guys, no gaming video again. Haha, what a surprise!" Does the sound effect for everyone like being all sad and stuff. So he's just like. But I had fun with my sons over the weekend, and we made a little video. Here we go. And like him and his son are like just the older one, Jack, I believe his name is. Is it Jack? I think it's Jack.
Jack Jr.
Jack Jr. And they're like hanging out and all that stuff. And then they made a little skit video where there's just like, "Hey, me and you, let's go hang out. Let's go for a drive, or whatever." And like they got like this horribly green screened like thing in the background while he's fake driving his Tesla, and it's just like, "Oh, we're driving around," and Jack Black's just like, "I gotta pee." And there's this funny little thing where apparently like I know it's just a skit, but it's just funny just thinking like his son would follow him out into the field just so he can go pee, and like they're standing right next to each other. It's like that's a little bit of weird family bonding that I don't want any part of. And like and then they see an alien go over the sky with like really bad really funny bad like video effects, and they're just like, "Oh man, we got to follow that alien." And they follow it to a little sign that says Area 52. He's just like, "We got to go in there." His son Jack's like, "Why?" And he doesn't and then he doesn't answer him, and they go in there anyways. And then they're just like, "Oh no, there's an automatron blocking our way into Area 52," and it's his younger son whose name I'm forgetting. He's like literally he's like in a box that they tape like tubes to, so it looks like he's just a robot with cannons. He's like walking back and forth, and there's just like he's like, and Jack Black's just like, "What we got to do, right?" He's just like, "We got a Naruto run," but he's a 50-year-old. I think he literally turned 50 recently. Oh yeah, he said in the video he's 50 now. Isn't that crazy? Jack Black is 50. Oh my god,
that's pretty crazy.
And So he says it funny. He's like, he's on Naruto run or whatever. And then he's like, it's the only way to dodge lasers is when you run this way, you run so fast, you dodge lasers. So there's a bunch of funny, bad, like video effects and sounds where they're just like dodging lasers and stuff like that. And then his son Jack pulls out a boomerang that explodes. So he throws it at his brother and it just explodes. And then when it comes flying back at him, he like drops it like maybe on purpose, but it made me laugh. It just reminds me of the old time of YouTubes where people made really bad sketch comedy.
Yeah.
So much so that I made my own channel called Happy Monster, which I can't get into. I tried every few months. I'm just like, I wonder if I can hack my way back into my old YouTube.
Are there still videos and stuff uploaded from that channel?
They're privatized. I want to get in there, download them, and re-upload them because they're so dumb and old. Anyways, so they go into Area 52, and then they open the closet, and they're just like, "This is it." And they open the closet, and it's just another bad green screen of like some tinfoil alien just being like, "Rrr," and they're just like, "What's this?" And then Jack Black and his son's like, "What's the secret of the universe?" And he's like, "YouTubes." And then Jack Black and his son looks at each other and he's like, YouTubes. And that's the end of the video.
I feel like Jablinski Games is not necessarily a channel about games, but it's Jack Black playing his own little game of YouTube. Yeah, YouTube game, if you will.
Well, he does always advocate for Jablinski, the game, the movie. So I think that's what this sketch was. So all part of it.
Oh, okay. That's pretty dope.
So let's get Jablinski, the game, the movie, the game, the sequel.
Yeah.
Squeakle, if you will.
Let's do it. That sounds great.
That's a Kickstarter I would support any day.
I feel like Jablinski Minutes, or not Jablinski Minutes, but Jablinski Games is very much like our podcast. In the sense that we're barely like a gaming podcast. Like I literally just listened to you talk about a Jack Black YouTube video and give us the audio rundown of it for 10 minutes.
Hey, like he's supposed to be playing games, to be fair.
It's by like, association. By association.
But I think this is the genius of it. I'm like 92% sure he started this channel knowing he wasn't going to play that many games.
It's just to target a specific audience, and then just do what you want to do once you have the visual of that audience.
Like the channel being called Jablinski Games is like a meme in itself, and he just wanted to call something a really cool name.
Yeah,
and he wanted a specific audience so that they like commenting, they like jokes.
They're like, yes. Gamers are my type of audience who like these haha things.
Sometimes it's gamers. We watch things like Funhouse and Polygon's weird videos where they compare things to real life.
Yes. Brian, what's his name? Is one of my favorite people at Polygon.
Oh, he's so good.
So funny. If we get big enough, I want to say hi to him. And that's just an awkward hello and then leave.
I would do one of those handshakes where I'm just like, am I shaking his hand way too long? And by the time I think that, I totally am.
Or the weird handshakes where you grab too soon and then it's only like the first 2 digits of their hand. And you just kind of squeeze too hard.
Dude, what the heck? Mini rant. Like, I feel like I've been raised on like, hey, give a good handshake. It means you respect someone. And like every person's hand I shake who are like 20 times older than me, that's an exaggeration. They give me like the most like half-second lip wristed like hand, like they don't even grip. They just kind of like just wet noodles.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's my mini rant for the day.
No, I agree with you completely. There was a lot of emphasis placed on firm handshakes for the interview process. I don't know if that's I don't know if firm handshakes is what closes deals. Let me tell you, I've given many a firm handshake. Not of deals closed, not that many deals, let me tell you.
Like if I was like a giant like businessman, like I'm over here, like I'm in charge of like 200 people's like paychecks or something like that. Like if someone gave me that handshake, I'll be like, you're fired. I don't even care what your job is. I don't care if like you're my CFO. Like you're fired. I don't like you.
Yeah, no enthusiasm in your handshake. Get out of here. It's like you don't want to be here.
If you're so important that my company might crumble for me firing you, it's all worth it just to get people like you out of the working world.
So now separate question is, when you handshake, so when you give a handshake to a guy versus to a girl, is your handshake for the girl less firm than towards the guy?
Well, I mean, I don't like grip people. I just give them a nice firm, like here I am gripping the two sides of your palm handshake, like, you know.
Because I always feel bad because when I like I have really tiny hands, and so when I handshake like an older dude, their hand is usually bigger than mine, and so I always feel like I have to like give an especially firm handshake just to not have my hand crumble in their hand. But then when I apply the same amount of pressure to like an old lady or something, I feel like I'm going to destroy her hand.
Maybe an old lady, might be the line. Well, what I do is I believe in women equality and that they can, that they're just as strong as us. So what I actually do is instead of handshaking with women of any age, I just arm wrestle them instead. And if they can go toe to toe with me, then, that's when I sign a business contract with them.
That's why we got to replace the handshake with the fist bump. Just, like how it's like one or the other. And then we have that like pseudo, like you hand, like you like clasp like arms, Arnold Schwarzenegger style, and then like bump your shoulder into their chest or whatever that thing is that like a lot of guys do.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, just fist bump. It's very straightforward. You hold up a fist instantly. Everybody knows what that means. You fist bump it, and then you're good to go. Let's not get fancy with it. It's just the thought that counts, if it were.
My thing is like that, raise your hand like somewhat over your head thing for like a good hand slap, and then like a half brotherly hug kind of thing where you pat each other on the back.
Yeah, that's what I mean. The thing
that,
where like half
that versus me going out for a fist bump, like that also needs to change. Like,
yes,
we need to pick one. We as a species need to pick one.
we have to come to a consensus on what our hand greeting gestures are with one another.
And I would say, because there's some like slight sexist connotations with a firm handshake, and maybe you feel like too awkward like doing like the half brother hug with like a female or like an older person. So I think universally and like without any, it's just so inclusive, the fist bump. Like there's nothing to it.
It's the middle ground. You can even get a little fancy with it and explode your end of it. You don't have to, you don't have to explode together, because then that's too much pressure.
And no one's gonna get mad if like you do like the world's lightest tap, or maybe like a slight like boom, like a little harder one. And it's just like, whoa, okay, and then that's it. But you don't really get mad at them. It's fine.
Exactly.
What is this podcast? What is happening right now?
I don't know. We've lost some more minutes talking about handshakes.
Probably some subscribers.
Maybe they're in it for the handshakes. We've cornered the handshake market. Obviously,
I'm really curious what Azario thinks now of the handshakes etiquette.
Maybe he'll tell us if he ever listens to this podcast.
All right, write in, Azario. Write in.
Yes, if you, Azario, or any of our lovely listeners wants to hit us up, you can hit us up at editors@noisypixel.net, and just in the subject put podcast or hi Brian, hi Victor, or something,
That's good.
Yeah,
that's good.
Whatever, anything. We like a good hello. If there's any topics you want us to talk about, this is a pretty free form podcast. We talk about a lot of stuff, as you can tell. Send them our way. Hit us up. And you can also reach out to us on Twitter @NoisyPixelNews. And be sure to check out the website. There's a lot of cool gaming content. If this podcast did not satiate your gaming needs, go to the website, because that sure will, because it's all games all the time. And that's noisypixel.net.
Woo.
Whoop whoop. Anyways, thank you all for joining us for another episode of the Noisy Pixel podcast, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.